Back for another beginner's guide video, I see. Let's talk about the most important thing, or second most, weapons are pretty important too, jobs. So, this is not your typical gacha. I want to make that clear, alright? So say you're playing Naruto Blazing, Dokkan Battle, any of the boring, or not boring, just the basic gachas. This is what would normally go down. Okay, this Alice looks cool. You say you get the Alice, right? And you're like, okay, I got Alice. This is so epic. Time to just max out this one character and go on my merry way. No, that is not even close to how this game works. This game has a job system. It's just like real life. They all have their own things. I want to break it down from the beginning. So, we have 4 support and 4 attack jobs. I want to see how many are here. Okay, so we'll start from the bottom. So, we got staves. These are like staffs. As you guys can see, her specialty weapon is a staff. This makes her job, so you gotta look at their weapon. Their weapon is very important. If she has a staff, her weapon her job is cleric. Now, what clerics do, they just heal. That's literally all they can do. They can heal, but then you can see over here usable. So with the specialty weapon, they get a 10% buff using the weapon. So the weapon will have 10% extra stats, or 10% extra damage, 10% more heals. But they can still use support items. So this support unit can still use the other support weapons. Supports can use support weapons, attack can use attack weapons. It doesn't matter which one. The only difference is if a job is healing and the healing job is using a staff which heals, they'll get a 10% boost on it. And this applies to every job, so vice versa. Okay, and then we got books. So books is another support. They're tomes, I guess, books or tomes, whatever you want to call them. This is a sorcerer. Their main job is to literally just debuff enemies. I'm going to go ahead and touch on all this in limit breaking later. I just want to talk about this first. Get all that out of the way. So, once again, staff, healing, book, debuffing. Okay, let's go ahead and go back up and see if we have more. Okay, we have instrument. Instrument's pretty cool, very important, of course, to your gameplay. Instruments, all they do is buff allies. Of course, it's support, so we can use the 4 other support items to heal or weapons to heal and all that jazz. So, support right here, instrument buffs allies. Super simple. And then we have right here a sword, which is a breaker. Breakers are swordsmen. They do single target physical DPS. So, every character has 4 different stats. If we can go to gear, right? So we go to edit. Oh, perfect. This is a breaker. We have power attack, or physical attack, magic attack, physical defense, and magical defense. So, since this Alice is a swordsman, I'd want to put a sword on her for the 10%. I don't have to, but it's recommended. I'll get the 10% boost. And that sword, right, would do single target physical damage. Right? Pretty cool. Now, I'm not sure how many more classes I have. Do I have more classes? Okay, we have another book. Well, there are more classes. I'm not sure if they're in the game or if I can find them. I'm sure they're in story mode, right? But I'm just gonna, I'm just gonna stand here, put a picture, and just tell you. Okay, so we have crushers. Crushers are hammers. So I'm just gonna go to a page where there's no character. So hammer, right? So for example, like anyone with the hammer would do multi-target physical damage. So sword is single target physical damage, and hammer is multi-target physical damage, right? And then you have gunners. Gunners are either bows or guns, right? One or the other. So what they do is single target magic damage. As you guys can see, remember how I told you about different stats? Let's not forget Alice. Guns would only use the magic attack instead of physical attack. So she can use guns, she can, and she can use hammer as well because she's damaged. But she should be using sword. It doesn't really matter too much in the beginning, but later in the game you're gonna really feel it. Okay, did not mean to open that. Let's go and go back to menu. Okay, and then here's the one I'm maining at the moment: Paladin or Paladin. Paladin? Oh no. Okay, anyways, so it's your choice what you guys want to do with this. Paladin, they use spears, scythes, lance, basically. What they do is multi-target magic damage. That's the one I got from rerolling, so I'm just sticking with this. So you guys see the beautiful chick on the right, Snow White with the staff, or with the lance, basically. That is multi-target magic damage. It's like hammers, but magic. And then, do we really gotta talk about the last one? The doo-doo one. The garbage one, man. You don't want this, but it's there, I guess. So you go to Rookie's Path, you can see this beautiful, beautiful Alice art, which is so wasted because she's a mage. Now what mages do is multi-target magical damage. You're like, wait a minute, what does paladin do then? Listen, the reason this is even like a thing in the game, it's useless. I mean, maybe sometimes you can put it in like a raid or maybe PvP if you need the extra little damage. Well, as you guys can see, the support characters have instrument, which buffs, book, which debuffs, staff, which heals, and then you're like, wait, but I can't do any damage then? Yes, orbs. Orbs deal damage, not the greatest damage, and you should never main an orb job. Oh, that sounded weird. Never main a job that uses orb. If you do that, you are the laughing stock. Okay. Now that we got that out of the way, I can explain about upgrading your class in limit breaking. To upgrade your class, you guys can see, so for example, I want to level up Alice. Just for an example, we have CLV, 1 out of 10. I need 550 mastery points. The way you get mastery is by expending SP by playing the game, or some of you might have this if you go to your items and you have grimoires. So we have a book of opportunity, right? I can use one right here, and this will give me 5,000 class mastery. Now, if I go back to upgrade and sell, this is universal points, so it doesn't matter who I use it on. I can use the 5,000 points on anyone, as you guys can see. Now I can level it up. I can get my Alice all the way to level 5 using one book. Remember, it's universal. You don't got to use it on that one character. I can go to Ibrahim, Sleeping Beauty, and it'll be the same. See, 5,000. Now, what does leveling up a job do? So, you guys can see right here, class CL level 1. Maybe we can go to like a character over here and see in more detail what it looks like. So we can go to Cinderella, sure. Okay, so you see limit break, which is, okay, I'll touch on that later. You see class, skills, and common skills. That's it though, that's literally it. And you see level 11 and 12, but the max level is 10, I'll explain that later. So, you look at your class skill is literally just for the class. The class means the character. So, if I'm using a blade, right, so a sword, on a Cinderella stage, I get 30% blade damage. Boom, really great. Class level 2, I get blade 10%, but you're like, there's no Cinderella plus stage. Yes, because this 10% buff will apply to anything. Not only the Cinderella stages, it'll apply to any stage, but only for this character. I'm not sure if it applies to PvP. I don't think it does. I don't know. Someone comment down below if you know the answer to that. I remembered it and I forgot it. Common is super important. This is what makes jobs so special. Common skills are basically universal. When I say universal, I mean universal. A gunner can help a swordsman in that case. So you just want to level up all jobs. Common. Common level? What does this mean? Job level 3. I get physical attack plus 100 on every single character in the entire game permanently forever. So veterans have the edge. If you level up basically it's a collector game. Collect everyone and level them up to the max. You want this. This is great. And then we have power defense and then blade 10%. So class, once again, only applies to the character. That makes sense. HP, all these other things you're seeing, the white common ones can be applied to anything. But you're like, Adam, why are these two grayed out? I'm not understanding that. What does that mean? Okay, thanks for asking. Great question. I'm sure you didn't ask it, but here we go. Basically, characters go up to level 10. As you can see, my Alice right here. Where you can go is to limit break class, and you can go ahead and limit break your character. It says cannot limit break. Why can I not limit break? Alice Breaker Arcana level 1. I need an Arcana for Alice. How do I get it? Well, right now on global, as far as I know, most of you people probably have these characters in these draws. If you spend gems, right, you get medals, right, and the medals reset at the end of the month, which is why this game came out July 1st. So until the last day of the month, you get medals by summoning for the whole month, and they expire. You're right here, Medal of Desire 7. So we can click choose, and as you can see, you're owned. It's basically like a mercy system. If you summon enough, you can buy the character you want right here. So here it is. You can buy the Arcana. Remember what I said about limit breaking? Here it is. You can limit break using the Arcanas. Here they are. Or you can get the weapon, right? Both are really good. It doesn't really matter. Honestly, what I would do is if you get one character, just go ahead and level up the Arcana like crazy. That's basically it. Once you get the Arcana, you go ahead and go to upgrade and sell. You can go ahead and limit break the class. And you choose your character and limit break. This will allow them to go up a level. And then you expend SP, which is basically the points you get in battle. Or you go and use books. Now, getting Arcana for certain characters, that's just from events and stuff. It'll happen later down the line. You'll see it. You'll get it. They're not that rare. Well, I mean, the gacha ones are. But free-to-play characters. You'll be getting them easy peasy, lemon squeezy. If you guys enjoyed, hit the like button, subscribe, and peace out, guys. Have a good one. More videos on the way.